Welcome back, Michelle. We are at episode 3.
Episode 3
of Tales from the Trial. If you are new here, this is the dog sports podcast for beginners to dog sports. And this week we will be talking about community in dog sports and why it's so important. Do you have any off the top of your head thoughts on that?
So I was way unprepared today. I'm just coming off of a scent work trial and chemo and time change.
Chemo is for the dog, not her, so don't panic.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that, because I just assume like everybody knows that chemo is for the dog. And then I have these faces of panic when I tell people that, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's for the dog. He's fine. He's going to be fine. He is doing really well with it."
He is doing really well with that, which, funny enough, actually ties into the whole community aspect, because everyone is worried about Dagon whenever you post updates on him and his first trial this weekend. Did you see all of the excited posts on it of everybody being like, yay, first trial back?
No, not really, because
okay.
I haven't had a
you haven't
chance
had time
really
to
to look for social media. No, and then I have a new networking meeting. I'm in a new networking group, so
Nice.
we're going to talk about that a little bit more today.
So while you think you're underprepared, you're actually not. You're
I guess
actually
not.
really, really ready for this one.
I guess I'm on topic.
So you might see in the background, I've actually got my laptop today because we did poll our community, and I did not have time to write everything down because Michelle got to deal with scent work trial and the time change and all that, and I got the rest of my wisdom teeth pulled out. So going back to all of Dagon, and he has had some really big health complications. So if you don't remember from our first episode, Dagon is Michelle's 10-year-old hound.
He's
Closer to
12. He just turned 12.
I definitely stalked your Facebook a few days ago because I wanted to find puppy Dagon photos to show Terrence, and they were so cute.
Yeah, he's pretty adorable.
And I was like, oh God, that says 2013.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah. He's 12 now.
So he's a bit of an older dog.
Yeah.
He had some big health complications. And this was his first scent work trial after
In like
the surgery
a year.
was
September.
Or 7
Yeah, about
months
6
ago?
months ago. September, October.
So what happened at that trial? How'd that go?
So we came back with 3 new titles.
Explain those, because AKC scent work titles are the most confusing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Buried is like our nemesis right now. It's the only thing holding us back. So we're in excellent. We can move up to master, but we're going to have a whole bunch of like practice before we do that. Excellent is 3 hides. 2 to 4 minutes usually, depending on the judge and the element. They tell you going in. But you have to have novice and advanced before you can show an excellent. Excellence level 3. We finished our excellent interior and our excellent... I don't remember what the other one was.
My phone is recording, so I can't just pull it up real quick.
That's okay. Excellent interior.
Didn't you do exterior?
We already had our excellent exterior going in. We had our excellent container. We finished our excellent exterior and our excellent container title. And we finished our novice exterior elite title. So that's the basic title plus 7 additional qualifying scores for a total of 10. So we came out with 3 titles. And if I would have been on the ball more with our buried, we could have finished our entire excellent overall title.
Was that the first one when you said you called it too early?
Yes. It was on the container next to the one that Dagon does that a lot. That's just one of our weaknesses.
It's fringe. I remember that in practice.
Yeah. He's not a fan of the selection pick which thing the hide is in. He's more of like a hunt type dog.
I mean, he is a hound.
Yes.
But that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty
That'll
pleased with
be
that.
in next week's newsletter because our newsletter, the wins are a week behind so that everyone has a chance to see the post on Facebook because Facebook groups do not show posts in the right order.
Yeah, algorithms are weird.
Yep. And if you guys want to sign up, you can sign up for the newsletters and submit your wins and everything. We have our Facebook group, Discord, and we do post everything on TikTok, but that's a lot more behind the scenes and just a lot more of us goofing off.
Yeah, kind of like now.
Pretty much. The first segment we want to get into is the value of networking and how your local clubs and online groups can help with that. What has your experience been? Good, and we'll touch on the bad, but kind of gloss over it because we want to stay positive about how you can find all the good people in dog sports. And they can come from some unexpected places.
Right. So just with dog clubs,
Yeah.
networking
Let's start
in
local.
general. Okay. So local dog clubs are generally like great resources. There's generally more positive things than negative going on at your dog club. You're always going to have Debbie Downers and sour apples no matter what
Nope.
it is. It doesn't matter. So just kind of smile and nod when
Get real good at just letting comments slide and be like, yeah, it's not worth even the energy.
No, and it's not personal either. That's just the way some people are like wired that way, I guess.
The first dog club meeting we went to, Terrence went with me, and Terrence is in scouting. And when you get into the higher levels of scouting, you get into the Masonic Lodge thing, which I don't even know if it's still technically considered a secret society or not, because like they're obvious about everything now, but he's not super active in any of it. But his first comment when we got in the car was, well, I know what all the Masons' wives would do during meetings now.
That's fantastic.
And I looked at him and I was like, oh my God, it's the dog version of Rainbow, which is like when your dad is in the Masonic Lodge and you're a female kid growing up, you can join Rainbow Girls, which is like
For like the sisters
Yeah,
of the Boy Scouts. Okay.
it's not even related to Boy Scouts at all. It's just like some weird. I only lasted like 4 months because they made me wear a dress and I didn't want to.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you.
So I gave up and I was like, I got better things I can do.
I'm impressed you made it 4 months, honestly.
I was desperate for friends.
That's fair, I guess.
Speaking of friends, that's how we met.
Yeah.
Was at our local dog club.
Right. Fast cat trial.
They hosted a fast cat trial. We went through that story before.
That whole story is in episode 1 if you're interested in backtracking for that.
So ridiculous.
It was great.
And we like then kept seeing each other at the dog club when we'd go to their meetings and stuff. And that's like how we met most of the people that we know in person.
Yeah.
Have some relation to our local big dog club. We actually are lucky. We have like 3 or 4, depending on how you count. So I think we have technically 3 AKC clubs because we've got SMDTC, Ozark Kennel Club, and the Golden Retriever Club is now an AKC club.
Yes.
We have our UKC club, which is a fantastic group of ladies, and we love them to death.
Yeah, and there's a lot of overlap.
There is a ton of overlap
between those dog clubs.
And then we have an agility specific one in NADAC. And I'm actually on the board for that one. And that one is less active than the other 2, but there's less things to do.
They're also smaller.
It is incredibly small. There's like 10 people total. Yeah. So, but we do have some really fun trials in the summer that we enjoy. Yeah. That's how we're doing our tunnelers and all of that stuff that Nike decided to run on top of the tunnel one day. Yes. And that's also when we talk about our Oklahoma crew, that's most of them we've met through NADAC.
Yes.
And it's over with Pure Joy, and I'm blanking on the name of the other facility that's over there.
Okay, so
we did poll our community for local clubs and online groups. And online, we didn't even talk about online. This entire business is built online.
Right.
99% through TikTok.
Yes.
If you don't have a local dog sports group, find something online. If you use the hashtag dog sports, you will be able to start finding your groups of people. And we have kind of gotten our main group of people in like Kira and Ronnie and Laura and Amanda. Like I see their stuff all the time.
Right. And we're in Missouri.
Yeah.
We're in
Kira's
Southwest
Oklahoma.
Missouri, right? Yeah. So we've met people on TikTok from Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas.
Louisiana. I totally
Yeah.
forgot to say Aaron's name in there. Inside Out Dog Training. He's fantastic. He's actually one of the ones closer to us.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-hour
Yeah.
drive. Yeah, so like Aaron's in Arkansas, Kira's out in Oklahoma, Laura's down in Texas, Amanda just moved to North Carolina, and Ronnie is starting some really cool stuff down in Louisiana,
Yeah.
the Bayou area.
Yeah.
And I think I've become more friendly with some more people up north and like where it snows all the time. I don't remember what northern states are. They all just kind of exist as a blob in my head because I'm not good at geography. If you can't find anything local to you or you are in a desert, get online.
Right.
Be cautious of social media dog trainers, but that's kind of the fun of dog sports is you can filter through those pretty quick and get your feed to be all dog sports.
Yes.
And you've got, as we've talked about many times, you've got everything you can do with your dog. Urban herding with tray ball, which is herding
Yoga balls essentially.
Into soccer goals, which I still really want to try with some of our dogs that have trained herding before. I want to try to get Susan in on that because she laughed the first time I explained it to her.
Yeah.
You've got agility, obviously, which is well known. Dock diving, it's a lot harder to find a spot to do that, but like a lot of people just jump into creeks and stuff for fun. You've got your scent games, your fast cat, your lure coursing. You've got everything.
Yeah.
Disc tricks.
Right.
So much fun. So one of the fun things we did, because I keep saying it and then not actually like getting to it, is we polled our community to find out about their dog experiences. And these are coming from our TikTok comment section, where the question posed was, how have local clubs and online groups helped you in your dog sports journey? And do you have any personal stories of good community experiences in dog sports? And we did let them know that answers would be read and to let us know if they wanted to stay anonymous or not. So no one specifically said they wanted to stay anonymous. So I might just use their usernames because I don't remember half of anybody's real names.
That's fair. We don't associate people by their faces. We associate people by like their dogs.
I met Indian Lynx mom, which they're the corgis that do dock diving.
Yes.
She recognized me at nationals because I had my headphones on and my bright purple shirt. And I was just like, I really do wear that hoodie all the time.
You have a signature.
And then I broke those headphones.
And
now
that is
they're
it.
all black. It's so sad. But T. Kepinkana said the NADD events run at Dog Mode and SLC are always a blast, and everyone is so helpful and kind. I don't know where SLC is, but I can probably figure that out.
I don't know.
And we had our friend Michaela, who also has cattle dogs.
CDs, yes.
And God, I love watching her dogs work.
Yes.
She's been posting so many trials recently that I'm just like,
yes.
Yes.
And practices with like agility and obedience stuff. Yeah. No, I love seeing her stuff too.
And she said, I have more good experiences by far than bad experiences. But I think if people just read the internet groups, they think we're fighting ringside on the daily.
That's true. We're really not.
We're very passionate chaos people.
Yes.
Who might have too much time on our hands.
Sometimes. But generally not. Everybody's intentions are good.
I would say 98% of people intentions are good.
Again, you always are going to have those sour apples in your Debbie Downers.
Oh, 100%.
But 98% is.
And then one of my friends whose username is Sport Dog and Sighthounds, I do know her in person, but I'm not going to use her real name because she keeps it anonymous for a reason, said, there was a time that the only thing keeping me in purebred dogs was the support of Dog Talk Online, which is Dog Talk is what we call the dog sports TikTok.
Right.
Dog Talk brought me my best friends in real life, and I can read. Dog Talk brought me my best IRL friend, and if it wasn't for the Dog Talk community, I would not still be training and trialing and chasing this weird sport with my dogs. I'm very thankful for the inclusivity and love on this app. And Megan said, I literally grew up in dog clubs. My parents were founding members of several clubs when I was a kid. As an adult, I still find community within those groups. I recently moved back to the area I used to live in, and I got my start teaching at this club. Their encouragement set me on the path that I'm on today, teaching all over the country, and I'm incredibly lucky to be able to reconnect with the members of this club. My life is better because of it. In my own teaching, I try to encourage community both in class and in my online group, and that makes me happy to see them forming friendships and bonds with each other, cheering each other on, and being there for each other. Dog people are amazing. How many times, while I'm catching my breath and taking a drink real quick, I left it over there, so that's not happening. How many times have you gone to a trial and known everybody there, or known a large group of people that you didn't expect to see there?
Yeah, at least half. Every time I go to a trial, whether I'm volunteering or not, I know at least 50 to 65% of the people at that trial.
And you always end up in random conversations.
Right. Yeah. And then with scent work, I'm going to use scent work as an example because this just happened. Yeah. So with scent work, we usually crate out of our cars. So everybody has the back hatch of their SUV open. Crates are on the ground. Chairs are out. People put out awnings, and a group of 5 or 6 of them are usually in about the same place. And I'm usually crated parked, I guess, next to one of those groups. And we display our ribbons on our cars or on our crates, as we collect them throughout the trial. So random people walking by will stop and, say, hey, congratulations, and just conversations just snowball from there.
Or they'll be like me and be like, what does any of this even mean?
Or I'll see somebody walking by with a bunch of ribbons going back to their car, and I'm not shouting out to them, but, it's congratulations, and what level are you showing in, and what kind of dog do you have, and, oh, my name's Michelle, and, when is this class starting, and where are they at, right now, and in the run order, what element level are they in, stuff like that.
How many of these people have you then followed up with becoming friends on Facebook and all of the other social medias on?
Actually, I'm really bad about that. Not gonna lie.
You were probably the generational difference between the two of us.
You were probably a lot better at that than I am. So most of those people I'm already connected with. And then I generally don't follow up with somebody unless I see them more than one time.
Meanwhile, the same weekend you're at a scent work trial, I was 30, 40 minutes south of you at a weight pool clinic with Nikki, and we had a blast there. And turns out Merle isn't scared of chains dragging behind him when he has a job to do, which is move the chains. So that was exciting because my little scaredy cat wasn't a little scaredy cat.
Isn't scared of things. Well, he was also making the noise too, so that might have had something to do with it.
I think it was also the fact he knows that sometimes harnesses, and I used his Candy Cross Go command, which is yip yip.
Mm-hmm.
So good to know he knows that cue means pull.
Yeah.
And he didn't hate it until we took the weight off and the harness touched his back legs. That was when he was like, what? No.
No.
not okay. And I was like, you know what? That's fair.
I'm out.
All right. And we had Sophia say, I have loved my experience at the local dog training club. This is the first dog we've started learning about sports with when he was about 8 months old. So I didn't really train him for sports to start. They helped me figure out fun matches near me, giving me tips and reinforcement on things I can do in practice, like a focused heel. And everyone for sure is at least 15 years older than me.
Yes.
But I've never felt judgment, and they are guiding me so well and reminding me that I'm just having fun and listen with my dog.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's fantastic. And those experiences are pretty standard.
You will gain so many, for the most part, dog moms,
Yes.
especially if you're younger. You will even get some dog grandmas
Yes.
that have adopted you.
Yes.
And that is what's happened to me, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
Welcome to it.
I brought my friend's kid, Mac, with me one time, or a couple times to a couple trials now. I took them with me to a NADAC trial, and Susan, retired teacher, full teacher mode came on.
Yes.
And she was explaining to Mac everything that was going on, making sure they understood all of the stuff. It was so fun and so cute. And Mac was just like, man, I think I kind of want to get into this stuff.
Yeah.
Mac doesn't have a dog, though, so they're going to have to use one of mine. So we're working with when they have time, because being about to be in high school means that they're very busy as a kid. But when they have time, they come over, and I think you've seen Dolly and Merle just like claim this human as their own. They're like, this one's mine. And I'm like, this is fun. So as soon as Merle is willing to give us like an actual alert to anything, I'm just gonna start letting Mac handle them.
There you go.
Handle him and all of his sniffy sports. And at least some barn hunt stuff.
And we love our junior handlers.
Our junior handlers are the only reason that I am not the baby of the group.
Yes. Well, that too. But for other reasons, we love seeing
future of the group.
It's the future of dog sports is our junior handlers, and we love seeing kids handle dogs.
Did you see the 6-year-old from Crufts?
Yes. That was amazing.
With the toy fox terrier.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute. And if you don't know what that is, I'll make sure I link the article in the description, because the 6-year-old won Crufts with his little toy fox terrier. It is like the cutest photo. It also makes that terrier look really big because the kid's also tiny. And it's really fun to see kids having fun. And I know a lot of people are like, well, they grow out of it and they don't want to keep doing it. And I don't think that most of that is that they're growing out of it. I think it's that we need to make sure they're having good experiences and not feeling like they're getting pushed into it because their family does it or because it's expected.
It's more of a burnout type thing.
And as a kid who grew up in bowling, I started bowling when I was 7. I competed throughout all of high school. By the time I had my knee surgery at 18, I was done with it. In the last few years sucked because it was a lot of politics. I had coaches mad at me that I wouldn't commit to a college team that wasn't even formed yet. My dad was mad because he didn't get the position as the coach. And so it was just, that's the short version of it.
I'm out. I'm done.
And I was just like,
I don't blame you.
Actually, being on recovery for a major knee surgery, because I tore my ACL and both of my meniscus jumping on a trampoline like an idiot. It was the perfect out. Like, I was in rehab for 7-8 months after that, and I was just like, I don't want to
go back. I'm done. I'm out.
School's hard. There's a lot going on. I'm working full time. I don't want to add another thing onto it. And that's actually when I got into weightlifting, and I was like, oh, this is fun.
This is it.
And then
career change.
Dog hair all over it with the sunflower emoji. I love
That's
that.
fantastic.
So I've been very welcomed into the working dog community. Everyone I've encountered is willing to help you learn and support you. And my local group of people, they're amazing. Working dogs. Typically, if you see a club with the term working dogs in it, it means they're going to do something with bite sports. I've also heard that bite sports insurance has gone up a lot recently. So unfortunately, our friends up north have had to remove that from their stuff this year.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. And I was like, dang, but bite sports is hard because you're teaching a dog to bite, which means you always have to like make sure that you're monitoring the dog.
Right.
And that a lot to it. But there's also the fun of the just protection dog side of it and the obedience. And there is something really fun about teaching your dog to bark at something on cue. And I'm really debating teaching that to Merle since we're starting to do more trail run stuff. Nothing about that dog is scary, but he does have a kind of deep bark. Only problem is his tail wags the whole time he's doing it.
Right.
Which, if you are on Facebook and you are still using it, it is open to anyone who wants to join. It is called the Athletic Bark Brigade by Indie Dog Sports Events. I couldn't make the name shorter. It added the by the Indie Dog Sports Events at the end. It's supposed to just be the Athletic Bark Brigade. And we have a cute little logo for it. It's just the words, the Athletic Bark Brigade, with the logo underneath it. I made a car vinyl on it, and I like it a lot. So one of our people, both people that ended up commenting on this one, were giving out podcasts. And
they responded more with the online community side and the online resources. So if you are in a desert, and it's things like Bad Dog Agility has a lot of free
one
things.
of them was, I love Bad Dog Agility podcasts. They're very helpful, very positive. And speaking of other really good podcasts, Susan Garrett's Dog's That.
Mm-hmm.
Love listening to that one. Have to be very careful sometimes to make sure I'm not accidentally emulating her too much.
Right. And then anything on Finzi.
I knew you were going to say that.
Finzi has, hey now, don't judge.
I paid them too.
Finzi has, they have a podcast. They have a lot of fantastic resources and trainers on their platform.
Specifically on that one, Amber mentioned Ring Confidence for Dog Sports with Laura Waldby.
Yes.
Which I think I'm saying her last name right. My God, that woman is amazing.
Yeah.
She's so good at what she does.
I took that class with Echo before we retired, and I got a gold spot, which is one of their working spots. So I could get direct feedback on my videos from Laura working
and
with
what
Echo.
that means, if you are taking a class and there's a working spot, that means there's normally an audit spot. And some people have tiers of what kind of access you get. But typically a working spot is going to be more...
You get direct feedback from the instructor. An audit spot, and that's usually what I do, is an audit spot. Because I just want the information.
So audit is more you're taking the class like if you were to sit down at a building and take a class like you were back in school.
You're getting all the information, and you can absolutely stalk the threads and the feedback from the working spots. And that has a wealth of information. That's how I got into canine fitness, was on Finzi.
Really?
Yeah. I took all the scent work classes from Stacy Barnett, and
that's where I heard the name. You were telling me about that.
Yeah.
I keep hearing her name, and I'm just like, why?
She runs Sensibilities Nose Work, and it's Sensibilities, SCENTS. And she also is a Finzi scent work instructor. So I took all of the classes for scent work that I wanted to take on Finzi, and I wanted to do more because I'm a sponge. And I saw a canine fitness class, like level 1 intro. I'm like, oh, we'll try that.
And here we are.
And it snowballed, and I'm not sorry about it.
Oh, God, me either. My dogs are doing so well because of it.
Yeah. Dagon is 12. And every single qualifying score we had this weekend was a placement. Every single qualifying score was in the top
but also,
4 times.
That's amazing. You were doing so much conditioning with him that when he went up for his first checkup, they were all just like, he's so muscly.
Yeah, and I was like, he's lost probably 50% of his muscle mass. It's like he's He's
How
not.
much do you think that contributed to them giving him such a good prognosis for his
A
surgery?
lot. A lot.
Because, like, that's a thing even with the human side of injuries is, like, if you can do the prehab or if you're in really good condition before you go in for surgery,
Right.
it makes it so much easier to recover.
Right. Well, yeah, you already have a good baseline start. If you're already doing conditioning with your dog and something happens to your dog to where they need surgery and they need to be out, whether it's a tumor removal or like a soft tissue thing or a fracture thing that needs repaired, when you go into rehab, a lot of the rehab exercises and the conditioning fitness exercises are very similar, right? So you don't have that learning curve when you're doing your rehab stuff. Your dog already knows where to put their paws. You already know what your reward placement looks like. So your dog's recovery time from that injury is drastically reduced when you already have a fitness program beforehand.
And we found out about, like me, Dolly, and Merle, we found out about our rehab vet because of you. Because I was like, hey, we got an injury. What do we do? And you're like, oh, yeah. So that's also one major benefit of having a community of people is like online or in person. How many times we've had a really sad one pop up in our group that made me tear up a little bit because I knew it was going to happen at some point. I just didn't want it to happen. Where someone's like, hey, has anybody in our group know of a low-cost vet for euthanasia?
Oh, yeah.
For an older dog. And I'm like, ah. And that's a big thing, too, is like when it comes time to put your dog down, having a community of people around you to get you out of the house, to make sure that you're eating. Because especially with, like, one of our friends has had a dog for almost 20 years that recently passed.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like every week or so messaging me and like, hey, what'd you do this week? Like, you doing all right?
Right.
Because that's hard.
Yeah.
And she actually joined one of your puppy
She did.
classes.
She signed up for one of my classes that starts this week.
So excited to see her out there.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, it's like it's hard to deal with, but having those people there the same way for any community. I think
Right.
And I was telling my neighbor, because I can't lift anything, I need to go get dog food. So he went with me to go get the dog's food last night. I was telling him about it, and his mom had been interviewed for a thing with her job, and she had said that community is the best thing. It's also the messiest thing. And I was like, that is such a good line.
That's not wrong.
Because it's so true. It's like we work so hard to try to include as many people as possible.
Right.
But humans are messy.
Yeah.
We're going to have disagreements. We're going to have arguments. But like at the end of it, we all have a common goal we're working towards.
Right.
And we all, for the most part, genuinely care about each other. And that's kind of what dog sports has brought to my life is like, I don't leave my house unless it's for dog
Unless
stuff,
you're doing
groceries, or going to the gym. Because I work from home. I can do all this stuff at my computer at home. Sometimes I make myself go out to a coffee shop. But like if I'm not out and training the dogs, I would be home 80% of my day.
Yeah.
So like I'm a proponent for finding your people. Because also just from the mental health standpoint, that's amazing to
Right.
find. But just like having people that you can rely on at any time, it's
To help
really,
you
really
with
nice.
Stuff. Yes. And
also, how many dog people have trucks? So if you ever need somebody with a truck, you can just be like, hey guys, anybody not going to a trial this weekend?
Yeah. And there's also a lot of people that get stranded. They have car trouble. When they're at a trial. That did happen this weekend. That's why I brought it up. I did see that. And
it was like within an hour, there were people from the town. Like it was a Springfield person got stranded in St. Louis. And within an hour, they had like a whole group of people there getting their stuff fixed so they could get back on the road.
Yeah.
That was insane.
And somebody always has jumper cables.
Oh, yeah.
At a trial. Always. Somebody always has a pair.
So, got the Discord version of these questions pulled up. And Elliot has said that this is from him with his late dog Percy. I don't remember if you got to watch videos of Percy. He passed a couple years
I don't
ago.
think so. I think
Such
that
a
was
good little terrier.
just when I joined TikTok and
I think
hadn't
so.
met. I
Elliot
hadn't
is
found
so
Dog Talk
sweet.
yet.
He's got Winnie now,
Mm-hmm.
and like the little sweater Winnie wears, that
Yes.
was Percy's. And it's like the first time I saw her wearing it,
Oh.
I was like, I'm gonna go cry now. But he says online groups and online classes were what enabled me to do entry-level dog sports with my reactive aggressive dog.
Mm-hmm.
I found an online community of people in similar situations, and they helped encouraging and motivating me to do fun things with him. And he's speaking about Percy in that one. And
Yeah.
I remember watching him really hit his stride with Percy. They were doing conditioning, they were doing some scent work stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Percy was just an older dog at that point.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. So like unfortunately he did pass, but like he's taken all of that he learned from Percy and using it with his new dog, and it's so fun to watch. Like she is coming out of her shell so well.
Yeah.
It's lit. He is lit up.
Yeah.
Like every video I see of them, he
Yeah.
looks so happy.
Winnie is freaking adorable.
She is a hoot. And then Caitlin and Belle put, we started doing dog sports hardcore after my mom passed in 2021. It got me, my dad, and our girl Belle out of the house and with people we didn't know. Little did we know our Fast Cat group and I believe this is Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia.
Okay.
DEMDVA.
Okay.
Think I have those states correct.
That your abbreviations are correct.
All right, I got Arkansas and Alaska mixed up one time at work, and I still haven't lived it down.
Okay.
It was 3 years ago. Area would become our sport family. We rearranged our schedule to finish Belle's Fast Cat, or FCAT, when we were moving to Florida so we could get that title with our group. And we maintained contact with everyone we met through that group, even after moving to Florida.
That's awesome.
I think at that point it was when I'm like, you guys are going to have me crying on the podcast.
Yeah. No.
Because like, it's so sweet. And
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I can do it. Not gonna cry. And then I believe their name is pronounced Array, and I don't know what pronouns they use, so I apologize if I mess that up. I'm just getting involved with an in-person club finally. I did previously take a single class with a club on my side of the water. They live out on the East Coast somewhere.
Okay.
But it's much smaller and a little less organized. And they just didn't have the ability to do everything. Now that I'm back at it, I've gotten started with the club. I have to drive an hour or two, and we'll see how it goes this time. A big reason I took a break was because I was struggling with some major health issues. And by the time I went back to school, working 2 jobs, and the pandemic happened, then I was preparing for a board certification that they got last year. So now they can actually drive.
They're
So
back
that's what we're talking
into
about.
it. That's
with
awesome.
Deserts is like the joke is, what do you consider near or
Right.
far
Yeah.
when you start dog sports? So like to me, because I grew up going between my parents' house as a kid, like a 3-hour drive really isn't anything. I don't love doing it there and back in the same day, but like 3 hours in the car, you don't need to stop for a bathroom break at that point. Your dog might, but like to me, a human shouldn't have to. And we live in an area where we're about 3 to 4 hours away from every other major area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the reason we want to build the arena here is we can make it worth driving here more.
Right.
So like we're about 3 hours from St. Louis, about 3 hours.
2.5 from Tulsa.
Yeah. Fayetteville, Arkansas.
2.5.
Kansas
3.
City somehow is also like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like I don't really understand. I guess it's highway time versus small town time.
Right.
Because somehow Versailles is still almost 3 hours, but it's like an hour south of Columbia, which is 3 hours.
Right.
So it depends on like how many small towns you have to go through.
Yeah. And speed limits and highways and
if you're driving through
shortcuts.
Missouri and you have to go through small towns, listen to those speed limits. Those cops have nothing better to do.
Yeah. Yeah. They are bored.
They're so bored, and it's so hilly that they take advantage of
Right.
it. And all of that was just like the first section of the community podcast.
Yeah.
which I didn't realize was going to become a whole thing, but it did kind of blend all the other things together. So we did talk about some other resources. Using the AKC, the UKC website, you can find local clubs
you
to
can find
you.
local clubs.
So then obviously using the dog sports hashtag was a big thing too. And if you know the name of your sport, then that helps too, because you can just use that as a hashtag, as a search. And there is one person on TikTok on YouTube Shorts I've been following a lot. Ryder the Dalmatian. I think his username is Ryder the Dal.
Oh.
But his human and him have been doing Candy Cross. And it's a Dalmatian. They're adorable.
Yeah.
I love them.
Oh, yeah.
But like her videos are just really cute.
That's
and
great.
I just enjoy them.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like the mix of the content I like, which is like lifestyle, fitness, but also dogs.
Right.
Which is a niche that apparently other people are
That's
also in. So I'm
perfect
like, that's
fit
fun
for you. Yeah.
So this month's training tip is going to be practicing calm behaviors around other dogs. And that is necessary because I'm going to let Michelle talk for a little bit.
Yeah. So you don't want your dog going off on every Springer Spaniel that walks by their crate. And I say
Did that happen this weekend?
No, Nike does that. Yeah, you remember now, right? Yeah. And it's only with
specifically the Spaniels.
It's specifically and I don't know what it is. I don't know what happened, but every time a Spaniel walks by her crate, she's like,
her bubble's a lot bigger for them than
get
other dogs.
away from me right now.
Like Nike already has like her crate is her bubble, which is fair. A lot of dogs, their crate is their safe zone. So if a dog gets too close to their crate, usually you want to try to give at least a foot to be safe. Like
but
most dogs will bark at that. Merle doesn't care. He's just like, okay.
Normally Nike doesn't care. Like, but it's just those Spaniel. I don't know if they have like the same energy level as she does. I have no idea. I'm just speculating. So, but yeah, we've done some extra training at practice with her to where the handler has walked by with her dogs, and I've just stood and rewarded Nike for not being a psychopath when they walk by.
And one sport that this is the most difficult in my opinion, is Fast Cat.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were at practice Sunday, because we were doing a worker practice to make sure we could run all the equipment properly and everything, because we're doing our first official practice in 2 days, and I'm so excited. As long as it doesn't rain, we're doing it in 2 days. It was supposed to be perfectly clear skies, and then decided it might rain on Wednesday.
Welcome to Missouri weather.
Yep. And one of the dogs has this blinder, essentially, like you would put on a horse. They made a dog-sized one so that it didn't freak out, because it's not freaking out at other dogs. It's freaking out about the lure moving.
Yeah.
And Fast Cat is one where you are actually allowed to have someone stand in your place in line, and you can bring your dog when it's your time to run.
Oh.
As far as I can tell, that is the case.
So Nike doesn't do Fast Cat, so I'm not sure all the ins and outs and etiquette.
Like your first 3 dogs have to be there, but up until that point, I think you can have someone stand in line for you and be like, yeah, that dog's just like in the crate.
Needs some more space here. Yes.
Which is one of my favorite things about Fast Cat, is everybody's getting really good at understanding it is an entry-level sport.
Right.
We're going to have a lot of new people. We want all the new people. That's why we do this.
Yeah.
But also, here's how we can make it safe for everybody. And Weight Pool also has that similar kind of thing, because
I could see
Weight Pool was designed around breeds of dogs that are known for dog reactivity.
They're high energy, high thresholds.
So how do we practice calm behavior around dogs?
So I capture it. I start at home, and when your dog is just like chilling on the couch or on their bed or crate or whatever, not when they're sleeping. Like, don't wake them up to do this. But I'll drop it. I'll walk by and drop a treat in front of them and just keep going about my day. Like, I don't give any extra praise or pets or anything else like that. I just drop a treat in front of them and keep going. And then you can take that outside into your backyard, and then you can take it to like outside the dog park or pet stores or patios, and you can start proofing it. But I use capturing for that and just reward when they're being chill.
I think we did something very similar when they were little because my dogs are litter mates. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot of trying to get them to learn to settle around each other.
Yes.
So it was a little bit of a benefit as they had to figure that out with each other first. But when we're on group walks, we'll pull off to the side because one big thing for Dolly specifically is she has a threshold before she tunes me out. And so I know that barrier is about 6 feet away from me. If she sees another dog within 6 feet, she really struggles to listen to what I'm asking her to do.
Oh.
And so what I've learned with her is we started with Candy Cross. The grass command actually meant like get off the path and just pull off to the side for a second. Because a lot of the trails we were running at the time were pavement.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started using grass as a way to like get them off, go to the grass, shortened really quickly to grass when you're running and you're just like, and so that became useful when I could see another dog coming at us, especially if that other dog is already amped.
Mm-hmm.
Then that threshold for her gets bigger because she's feeding off of their energy too. And she wants to go say hi because she loves everybody.
Absolutely.
And so
Dolly.
she is a very lovable dog.
Yeah.
I give her a lot of crap. She is incredibly lovable and super tolerant of other dogs' chaos. And so my head's on a swivel because I just don't like being snuck up on. We've been rushed by off-leash dogs enough times that I just stay alert all the time, especially when we're doing group walks with other people in our club. And so we'll have the dogs coming towards us. I know that I've got about 6 feet if the dog's calm, probably 10 to 12 feet if the dog is hyper. And even more if that dog is like pulling, choking itself, trying to get to the other dog. Right. It's super hyper. It's just part of it. So I'll give her the grass command, which just means pull off to the side. And she
gives some more space.
Just started to be like, she has the option. She can either look at me, like sit and just stare at me, in which she gets fed unholy amount of treats. Like probably every 5 seconds gets a treat for however long that interaction lasts, which is now starting to become her default behavior when I say grass. When it comes to squirrels or cats, she hasn't figured that out yet, but she will stand there, and she's learned that if she keeps that leash without any pressure on her collar, she can stand there as long as she wants. And I'll just wait with her. And so instead of lunging and trying to go after the thing, she's just like, okay, I'm going to watch it. And she's learned that we get to continue the walk if she doesn't pull. And then usually it takes about 30, 45 seconds before that squirrel is boring because the squirrel has realized there's a dog.
Yeah.
I'm going to go away now.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it's not coming back. I can't chase it. And she'll just trot over to me and be like, hi.
I'm ready to go now.
You exist. Cool. And like those two things, that time gets shorter and shorter depending on if I've been keeping up with her exercises during the week or not.
Mm-hmm.
But like those two things have been huge for her, especially the pulling off onto the grass when other dogs or people are walking by us. And then you hear other people be like, hey, can you do that to their dog? And I'm like, this is not the time to tell them they could. But also that this took like 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I didn't start doing this until they were like a year old because it's hard.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing for like the first year of their life. So yeah, if you
Oh.
have a dog that really likes other dogs,
Well, just
giving
swing
them
it.
a way to either use the behavior or another outlet for it seems to help, at least with my crackheads.
Yeah.
Recap of this episode: dog sports and community. Michelle, where do we find dog sports and community? Or community and dog sports?
Internet. You can look online for your local dog clubs. And if you live like 4 hours away from civilization, there's a lot of online resources like ours. Finzie's good. Susan Garrett is good.
I'm sure there's others that we just don't. Bad dog
Bad
agility.
dog
and
agility
One
is
Mind,
good,
but those are
right?
specific
Yes,
to agility.
One Mind Dogs, their community is also fantastic.
And then if you're able to be around places and locally, then definitely, even if you don't enjoy the politickiness that can happen at some dog clubs, try to find your people inside of it.
Yes,
Because you will end up finding a group of people that you guys all end up carpooling to shows together. Online, in person, finding your people helps you get through a lot of the good, the bad, the chaos.
Yes.
When you're having a problem. I didn't even share. I'm going to share one last story, since now the camera's just going to be on Michelle's reactions the whole time. Probably one of the things that ended up being the most helpful for me that I got from our dog community was I have poodle mixes. I brush them entirely too often.
Oh, your grooming stuff. Yeah.
Uh-huh. They were coming back from our groomer, not really wanting me to touch their feet or anything. So I'm thinking our groomer was just getting the job done, because that's what they're paid to do. I started learning to groom them at home through TikTok videos that our friends would send me. And they were amazing. LaForge, his mom, sent me a lot of videos and a lot of grooming tips. Faith and Floofs is now her username. She also sent me a lot of really helpful things. And then someone was like, hey, you said that they're mixed with a retriever. I was like, yeah. They said, go to the farm store and get an undercoat rake.
Yes.
It looked like it snowed in my house the first 3 times I used that. I was just like, and I haven't had a mat since.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, I never would have figured that out without TikTok.
Yeah. And usually if you get your dog through a responsible, ethical breeder, they usually have some sort of community online for the people that got their dogs. So you can...
Yeah, because you guys are always sending videos to Nike's breeder, and it's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Nike's breeder has one. There's a golden retriever breeder that's very well respected locally in our area, and she has one. So if you get your dog from a responsible, ethical breeder, they should have a community, because
think about that.
They want to stay in touch with you.
They want to see what their dogs are doing.
They want to see what you're doing with that puppy that they bred.
One of my favorite things is every time we have a NADAC trial, Nike gets to have photos with one of her siblings.
Yeah, so Nike's breeder she's in Oklahoma. So our Oklahoma group that comes up here for our shows also has a cattle dog from the same breeder. They have the same sire. Their mother is different, but I think it's the same dad.
That's what you were saying.
I think it's the same dad.
You can see a few similarities.
You can tell, like, head shape is very similar. So we always get like a group photo of the Flying D agility dogs at our NADAC trials.
It's so fun.
They're so great.
And on that, we're going to wrap it up. We will see you guys next month in April when we are talking about preparing for your first trial and what to expect. And on that, we will see you guys next month. Adios.
Bye.